somebody linked let the boy watch? Oh. This moment came to me in a dream. Alright, I'm ready to start whenever you are for the recording.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We'll do it live. It's live.
Alright. Well, welcome to episode 5 of Shady Shadows over Shadowshade, a Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign. Alright, so when we last left everybody, we were in Philton, and the last thing to happen was you all ran out of the town guard's quarters where you were held in their little jail cells. And it is the middle of the night, and that's it. Things are rather frantic, I would say, at the moment. Not a lot of time to confer, but you have a moment to gather yourselves right outside and do whatever you're going to do. The guards inside seem confused at the moment, but you're sure that's not going to last too long.
Question: Where's the bookstore? Is it D?
It is D. Yes, I've put a couple of relevant things on here that you may possibly be interested in, given your intended your stated intentions, rather.
Yeah. Okay, so Otto comes out of the building, and he is reloading his pistol as he's looking left and right down the street, and he looks over at Reinhold and he says, "There's one more thing we must do before we leave. I'm sorry to put you all in this situation, but it's on the way out of town anyway. The bookshop. We need to go there and burn it to the ground."
And Reinhold is sort of the use of all that power in one short time span. He's sort of stumbling around a bit, but he sees Otto and nods.
Otto looks at Wrecker to kind of gauge his...
Wrecker's in a highly agitated state of confusion. He's still trying to come to terms with what the hell has happened. He's protective by nature, and he does consider these two to be somewhat friends. He's in the process of basically ushering y'all out in front of him and guarding the rear. And then when you say that we're not done, we have to go burn a building to the ground. He gets very furrowed brow and just kind of scowls with, quizzical confusion. And he's just like, "What the blazing hells is going on here?"
"I'll explain more after we're gone, Wrecker, I promise. Be it known that there's a cult in town, and, well, certainly now they want my blood. And that place that we need to burn to the ground is their, well, last I knew, their repository for all their secrets."
Just finally guffaws because he's hearing sounds coming up behind him and stuff like that. And he's just going, "I'll not let any demons into this world. Lead on."
And Otto nods and begins heading towards the bookstore while he puts his pistol back in his belt, kind of not making it obvious, and kind of fast walks in that direction.
All right. You may proceed. Show me how you want to get there.
So he comes out here, and I think he's kind of not wanting to go into the main market, so he's going to actually take, probably go down this way, a long way around.
Are you hurrying along after him? Because it seems like he's moving at a quick pace there.
Yeah, I'm moving briskly.
I'm trying to, but I'm just sort of like, as I'm shuffling alongside Wreckers, I may need your assistance if you'll faint. I used too much power when I was and just sort of rub my temples. One of my temples as I'm walking.
I can't hold you and this shield at the same time. I'll be damned if I hinder my weapon arm.
Well, just listen for a
You
fall.
got us into this mess. Man up and carry yourself.
And shoot him a glare and then shuffle.
Yeah, your head is swimming right now.
But yeah, I'll definitely let you go in front of me though, and like keep you from behind. But I'm not gonna carry you because he's still debating.
Otto, can you give me a perception check, please? With just straight up, no boons or banes. All right. They lagged significantly behind you, and you kind of get out ahead of them.
Okay.
And because you're rushing there, and it's and before you know it, you kind of look around, and they're not behind you.
Oh, Otto stops and kind of backtracks just a little bit.
Okay.
Trying to go back towards them. But he doesn't yell out or anything.
Right. Okay.
Now, if we're actually in the alleyway, if he's pausing to talk to me or whatever, I will uncork my last healing potion and drink it if at all possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you may do that.
Because I think I already did I did my second wind during combat.
All right.
How much does a healing potion do?
I can't remember that off the top of my head here.
Can't remember if it's die 6 or die 8 or die 6 plus 2.
9. I'll look it up real quick.
It's off of starting equipment.
Yeah, there's actually a page. Healing potion. All right. That's funny. It does not say. I think it's a die 6. So you can go ahead and do that. And if it's more, well, I'll fix that soon enough.
I got
That's not much.
the nasty Kool-Aid version.
That's bound. There's bound to be lots of those sold around here.
Creature heals damage equal to its healing rate.
Oh, that's why it doesn't say. All right, you don't have to roll.
So my healing rate is 4.
Yeah, so go ahead and fix
So
yourself.
it was 8 down to 4. It works like second wind.
Yep. And Otto, I assume you got my message.
I did.
Okay. You drink your potion, and you hear from the guard barracks behind you. You can hear them kind of assembling, and you hear somebody say, "We have to go get them."
Does it sound like the people that were in the room screaming voices, or?
Yes, yeah. It sounds like the guards. Somebody is trying to stir them to action.
That's all the more reason for him to tell Youngblood to man up and hurry up. After drinking, catching, and if that's going on and he's still staggering or stammering behind, I'll try to scoop him up.
Bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to scoop him up as best I can, but I'm not going to leave my... Yeah, I guess I could just drop him to the ground with my weapon arm. If I had to. Like, you'd be the death of us both. Come on, we must get moving. The guards are reassembling. Now, where's your father gone?
I don't know. He went this way.
Yeah,
I
he
lost
went
sight
down
of him.
that way.
Scoop them and start making our way. I'm not gonna like start screaming out like Otto, where are you? You know? But
What?
but definitely quicken pace with him dragging them.
Okay. You can proceed. Yeah, you don't see him along the road here.
Be like, blast that easy. Do you think he went to your house by chance, you old one?
No, he was intent on the bookstore. I know he was. You should just keep heading that way. I know where it is. Follow me.
I don't like these party guards.
You hear noise of the crowd behind you. Some soldiers are in the streets and shouting, "Alarm! Witches! Witches!"
Uh-oh.
Damn it. We have to keep moving.
All right. You can continue. Just show me where you're going.
Wrecker. I don't know if we should keep going to the bookstore or hope that Father can accomplish it on his own. The guards are coming close.
I said we rush to the gate as quick as possible for myself.
You hear voices. You hear someone saying, "Which way did they go?" And they say, "You go this way. We'll go this way." They can't have got far.
If they seal those gates, we're doomed.
I already went through all that trouble for my father. I can't leave him here.
Well, this hour of the night, they'd have to open the gates for you anyway. The gates are not open.
When we get there and we ain't seen him, I'm gonna start shout whispering and be like, Otto! Otto, blast you fool, where are you? If I don't hear anything, then
You hear nothing right now, except you hear the crowd coming from somewhere over here.
I'm just heading to the bookstore. I already went through all that for Otto. I might as well.
All right, go ahead and show me. Wrecker, I assume you're following along.
yeah.
I would stop there and peek out left and right and then get across if I don't see any guards running
Right
down the
now,
road.
it's quiet there. You don't
Okay.
see anybody. You catch maybe you see somebody down here,
And I would motion to Wrecker to go to
But
the
it-
sides of this little alley.
somebody moving furtively, maybe not. You just catch a moment of them. You're not sure who it is.
If I don't know, I'm not going to say anything because I'm sure the guard's moving quick too. So I'm just sticking to the side of the shadow of this alley and moving down it quickly, but trying to
Mhm.
remain quiet.
Okay.
You know, I got you in my arm. I might. Nah, the cards know who I am. I could just go, I've got one. I've got one.
Oh, I'm splitting off here right now. I'm starting to get my groove back. But
Yep.
youthful exuberance and
Yeah, I'm
energy.
hunkered low, scurrying forth, paranoid of everything, looking up, down,
Yep.
around.
Apart from the noises back where you guys came from, it's getting a little quieter over here.
Blasted fool of an arse. I can't believe you did this.
Otto, you can make a perception with a bane, please.
Otto or...
I'm sorry, not Otto, Reinhold.
Reinhold.
Yeah. Okay.
Did I do that correctly? The minus? Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. So you're coming here and you see somebody down this street momentarily, but they disappear from view. And you know the bookstore is over here.
Did it... they're probably too... I only saw him for a moment. I doubt I can...
You do also, with that roll, you hear some movement getting closer to this part of town, and you can hear kind of some shouting in the streets from far away, and you hear like some banging on doors.
Wrecker, I'd point out down the alleyway where I saw that person. I saw someone scoot down here moving quickly. I thought it might have been Father, but the bookstore is the other way.
What do you want me to do? We press on or we head back towards the gate?
I don't know. The movement of this person to this alley was strange. But Father said he was going to the bookstore. I think we should check there first.
It's much further or no?
No, right around this corner.
Very well. People head around the corner. I'll watch the alleyway.
Okay.
Let me know what you see.
So I peek around, look towards the bookstore.
All right, you can give me a perception with one bane, please. Ooh, beautiful roll, sir. You look up and down the street, and you are quite certain nobody is on the street, and you see nobody lurking in the shadows around here. The entrance to the bookstore is right there, and there are torches right outside the door. It looks like the bookstore is open, or somebody's at least lit torches out front.
Okay, so I'm definitely confused because my reckoning is that if he's that far ahead of us, he should have easily beat us here and been waiting for us or something or another. So I'm sort of like looking at the bookstore, looking back to Wrecker, looking down there. Has you seen anything in the alley?
I don't know.
Go ahead and perception with a bane for me also, please.
No, I see nothing.
No. You're Schultz. You see nothing. Nothing.
Nothing but blasted darkness.
I saw nothing. The pavement was my enemy. All right.
You do, even with your terrible roll, at least, Reinhold, you are keenly aware that the search for you is widening, and it won't be long before this area of town, you can hear them getting closer.
Blast it. He's not out front. We should check and see if the person that went down the alleyway is my father.
Very well. If not, I say we climb the gates and make our way.
And just don't say anything to that right now, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with that case. We'll go southward through that alley.
All right.
I'm in predator pissed off mode. I don't know if it is him. I don't know if I should greet him or stab him. I'm really worked up emotionally at this point.
Okay. All right. You go up down this alley. Rather, you do not see your father. He's not hiding in the shadows. If he was, he would see you certainly. Yeah, you just this street seems quiet.
Which did the person turn the corner here? Is that where they went whenever I saw them last?
Just not sure. You just caught a glimpse of them, like for just a moment, near the end of this street. Yes.
So I guess we'd go all the way down and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see nobody along here. It's quiet.
How big is this house right there? 1 story, 2 story?
That's a 1-story house. They don't allow 2-story houses up against the wall.
How high is the wall from the roof of that house?
Actually, from the roof of that house, you could climb up to the rampart there.
Point across through the darkness to the house by the wall. So they're going, I don't know where he is, but the guard will be upon us in a minute. I say we make our way up that house and over the wall.
I want to rack my brain so I can think of anything else my father would be doing at this moment, because I don't really... Reinhold probably doesn't want to leave his dad, but I personally as a player cannot think of where he would be going right now if not towards the bookstore. So is there any way I could roll something or...
I'll let you make another perception check.
One bane, 2 banes?
Just regular. Okay.
No.
He seemed quite determined, I would say, though. You've seen your father when he is on a mission and says he's going to do something, and he's very single-minded about it.
But the guards are getting closer to there.
They're still not here, but you know you don't have too long. You've got maybe another 5 minutes before they start searching this part of town, probably.
Are these a lot of stone buildings or thatchwork?
It's a mix of stone, but mostly stone, a little bit of wood. The roofs are slate in some cases, on the red bits, and the rest are actually wooden slats.
I don't think we could start a fire that would last long enough to burn that down.
You'd have to go inside and set the books on fire and let them catch eternally.
I don't know if we had the time. Begrudgingly, Reinhold doesn't really see much more he could do other than either just go back to the bookstore he had already seen, and he doesn't understand why his father wouldn't have waited for them if he was going to burn it down with their help. He just looks to Reckon. Fine. Just looks pretty solemn about it.
Not really breaking emotion whatsoever. He's still worked up and full of angst. He just goes, he made his own bed, let him lie in it.
All right. So you guys are gonna pull out. It's not too hard to get to that building and climb up if that's what you want to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll go. Give me a boost up. I'll go first, and I'll pull you up to me.
I'm just looking Wrecker up and down. I'm sure Wrecker's massive, but I'm just like shake my head and put my hand out for him to step on.
That's all I need, something to step on. When you feel my foot shove up, it's with all your might.
Understood.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can struggle up to the top there. But as you start to do that, you actually see a guard walking the rampart.
Is he walking towards us? Away
Yes,
from
he is
us?
walking. He's walking towards you, like here.
We're both on the rampart, or just me?
No. You are starting up, climbing up to the top of the roof so that you could get on. You're struggling up to the top of the roof, and as you kind of start to hoist yourself onto the roof, you can see a guard walking in your direction along the rampart there.
Well, I need to get to the roof as quick as possible. Then that way I can try to jump up and grab his ankles.
Okay. Give me a let's see, a strength check, please.
Boons, banes. Or...
Nope, just straight. All right, you scramble up. You are on the roof. Give me, however, an agility check, just so I can see if you handled it carefully and quietly, or was noisy about it. Okay, you weren't very quiet. Let's just see if this guy notices. Okay. Yeah, you scramble up and you hear a voice say, "Ho there! Who goes there?"
Try to get against the wall as far as I can. Wait, get him that way. I can get him as close as he can get to me.
Okay. And you can hear the shouting from the town growing a little louder now. And he yells out, "Over here!"
Oh shit! He had to talk. Okay. Broadsword in the belly. I was just gonna drag him down and try to knock him unconscious, but
he's not quite next to you yet. Yeah. He saw something, a human form, scrabbling up the side, and kind of stopped and challenged you, and you kind of pressed yourself to the wall, and he just kind of called out. He sounds a little nervous. There have been shouts of witchcraft in the town, so you can hear in his voice he sounds afraid.
Is there any way to leap up and do the oogie boogie, try to scare him off of the rampart?
Sure. Of course, there's a way to try to do that. Okay. Let's make a will check. I'm going to make it a straight up will check. No boons or banes, because he's scared and it's dark, and I'd say you've got a reasonable chance of pulling that off.
Yeah, I'll go barbarian feral, and I don't know if I can get myself up onto the. I'm assuming I can get myself onto the rampart.
Yes, it's not too hard.
Okay, so basically I could just picture him going up there, and he goes, "Oh there, who's there?" And doesn't say nothing, crouches in the darkness. The guy goes, over here," and then just come up and goes, just like let out a big feral.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be terrifying. Go ahead. Yep, good enough. He kind of he backs away quickly, and he actually screams for a moment, and he just starts booking it in the other direction down along the ramparts.
Spin around to Reinhold with a slight smirk amidst the look of angst and anger, frustration, reaches down real quick, and he says, "Here's your hand."
I'd reach out and let him yank me up on top of the building.
Okay, you get up on top of the building. And if you're going to drop down, that's going to be an agility roll to avoid damage with 1 bane. It's not a short fall, and it's on a hill, so you're going to hit and roll down. Probably.
How long would it take to do a hang drop to lessen the distance?
I'm assuming you're doing that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So agility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grab the edge, let your legs up, and once you're ready, just go and let gravity do the work.
Oh shit! Here we go.
You said with 1 bane?
1 bane. Yeah, this is a tough drop. These are tall walls. Wrecker made it.
Like these.
Oh, you both made it. All right. You drop to the ground. You're just momentarily kind of stunned as you hit the ground and catch your breath, but the two of you kind of gather yourselves up, and you are over the wall. So what is the plan now?
Look up and go, "We have to get away from this position. That guard will be back with reinforcements."
And I'm trying to think of a way that I could maybe leave. I don't know. It's a trail just for Otto to follow, but I'm not sure how I do it. Shit. Would we have any? I don't even know if we'd have any nicknames for family or anything like that. Maybe I'd leave like some if I have like any parchment or anything that's left available, I'd try like maybe write down my mother's name and just like do one of those trails, like bread trail with notes of my mother's name or something. See if he notices them. I don't really know I don't know where he's gonna. I have no idea how he's gonna find us.
Yeah,
is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because my thinking is I want to go to the bandit hideout because that's
what I was thinking too.
But he's obviously I think he's fairly intelligent, but is he going to find out where? Is he going to know that offhand? I don't know.
If he has half a brain, he knows that's probably the closest place to be.
I think I'd consider it with a piece of parchment, but think that was stupid because really it is, and then just we should make for the bandit camp. It's one of the few places the three of us know.
All right, fair enough. All right, so you guys head off, and let's take a very brief break here for a couple minutes. And then we will move over to Otto.
Probably bonked on the head.
This is gonna be a hoot.
Why'd you have to run so fast?
You fool.
Why can't it be slow?
Why don't we meander?
Determined man.
Meander our way out.
Okay. I've put you guys there just so you can see, but obviously you are not there. If you scroll over to the right a bit. And Otto, that is where you are.
Mm-hmm. So Otto looks around and first thing attempts to move, obviously, and realizes that he cannot because he's restrained by his ankles and wrists, I'm assuming.
Yes.
He like tugs at the bonds, seeing if he can wiggle his way free, kind of just as a automatic response, right? Just
an automatic response.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he looks around and tries to get his bearings to see if he knows where he is.
He does not recognize this place. It's quiet. You can perception me, please, and I'll see what I can tell you.
Just flat?
Yeah, just straight up. Yeah. You're having trouble seeing. It's dark down here. Your impression is that you are underground. You can see just the beginnings of stairs right over here that kind of go up. It's very dank, and it has a musty, disused feel to it.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't say anything. He's just kind of like grunting and trying to pull against the restraints, and then he begins to mutter curses. It's kind of under his breath.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what he does.
Okay, yeah. All right.
He's becoming a little bit more frantic as he realizes his likely very ponderous situation, right?
Mm-hmm. You hear the sound of quiet footsteps on stone, scraping on stone.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it's coming from above you.
Yeah. And he... At this point, he just yells out, "Let me out of here! Let me out of here! Help!"
There's no response, but you can hear the as your echoes die away, you hear the step of feet on the stone getting closer, coming down the stairs now, you believe.
I mean, he's still trying to trying to slip his wrists out if possible, or any trying to escape he's attempting to make. I mean, he attempts it, futile or not. He's attempting to get out.
Yeah, okay. You can make an agility check for me with a bane, please. Okay. You start to work at your one arm is not quite you have thin hands and wrists, and you're kind of pulling on one of the restraints, and you feel like you might be able to work your hand out of there if you're willing to scrape yourself up.
Oh yeah, he's pulling with everything he's got. He basically takes his fingers and puts them together, as you would to make your hand smaller,
right.
and just like jerks as hard. It's just like continually jerking frantically to get out.
Okay, it's hurting.
What the fuck?
It's about to hurt a lot more.
As you're jerking your hand against the restraints, you feel a presence right next to you as you're kind of watching your hands.
Yeah, he just like looks up and like leans back away from the presence and kind of
Mm-hmm.
And oh god, he screams, "Ah! What is this?"
Just kind of looks at you and cocks her head to the side a little bit, just studying you.
Okay, how do I pronounce her name?
Edgith.
Edgith?
Mm-hmm.
Edgith, what are you doing? What is this? And he just like is continually trying to pull his hand out as he's leaning as far away from.
There is something very wrong with her.
Oh yeah.
You can see. You can see what she looks like.
Heebie-jeebies.
Stay away from me! Stay away from me!
My love. She kind of looks like she's trying to talk, but just it's a whisper.
Yeah, his eyes are like wide open in fear and panic as he's like jerking at the restraints and he's like basically just pulling with all his might, but like he's kind of on his side as much as he can, kind of like leaning away from her, but at the same time his head is cocked towards her because he is looking at her.
Her hand reaches out to your head and just kind of pushes your head back down onto the table, and she has a terrible strength. She did not have this in life.
No.
And she just kind of pushes your head with one hand, and with the other kind of puts a finger to your lips.
And he just kind of murmurs at first, but then quiets himself as he's still pulling on his arm to try to get it.
Yeah. It's starting to come free. You're ripping up your hand, but you're gonna get that out.
If you're still alive to get it out.
Yeah.
She whispers and says, "I've always loved your eyes."
Oh, he like looks extremely panicked at this point and like closes his eyes and tries to turn his head away. Actually,
she says, "I think I shall take them for myself."
No. He starts saying.
Then she walks this way.
He says, I killed the man that killed you. I killed the man that killed you. He just starts like babbling. I avenged you. I avenged you.
Your hand is free, but roll a die 6 to see how much damage you took getting that free.
Okay. Oh, God.
All right. You may give yourself 3 damage.
And as his hand comes free, he immediately, God, God, is there anything I can grab? Is there anything close enough for me to grab? Can I undo the latches? There's got to be something that keeps them in place,
latches. Right? Yes, they are latches.
Not just with a bolt or something.
Yes.
He immediately starts.
They're not padlocked.
Yeah, he immediately starts trying to pull the bolts out.
All right, give me an agility check with 1 bane. First give me a will check with 2 banes. This is a pretty awful thing. Will check with 2 banes.
I'll fucking say.
All right. Hey, even with 2 banes,
I don't care.
So you are at least you're shaking, but not too badly, right?
Yeah.
So give me just a straight up agility check then.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. What are you slipping off first?
My other hand, so I can work with both of them.
You get your other hand free. And what's next?
One of my legs. My leg closest to her. So if I need to try to kick her off me, I can.
You see her walking back towards you, and you catch the glimmer of like a spoon-like implement in her hand.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, and as you sit up too, you see that this table has quite a bit of dried blood all over it.
Mm-hmm.
This has been used before. Okay, agility check me for your right leg, please.
0. 1.
Yep, just straight up.
I use the fate point.
Okay.
You're gonna get spooned, man. Oh God.
All right. I forget if that lets you re-roll or whether you succeed automatically. I
think the fortune spins. Yeah, just makes me succeed.
You can convert it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get that latch off, and you got 1 leg to go.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Do not worry, Otto. You become a part of me."
So now he's got a lot more flexibility and kind of where he's moving to. So he's leaning as far away as possible. Yeah. He's
all right. Yeah, make the agility roll. If you fail this one though, you're gonna fall off the table as you're kind of trying to get that and stay away from her at the same time.
Oh, God.
Right, you slip the latch off the left leg and as you kind of roll off the table, because she's right up on the other side of the table now.
Yep.
So you have kind of hit the floor right there.
Oh, I'm running. He basically gets up to his feet as quick as he can, and
you hear her. And which you assume is a voiceless scream of some kind, and you tear up those stairs.
Absolutely, yeah. He runs and he basically almost doesn't make the turn because he's going so fast, and he kind of grabs the wall to kind of help turn him as he's just booking it as fast as he possibly can, recklessly running up the stairs.
Up the steps. You get up the steps, and you emerge into this little dead room. But there are semi-boarded windows.
There's a door here, right? So,
yes, there is.
And this is that anything?
That's a window. But these are very small windows, and they're mostly boarded up, just a little bit of light slipping through the cracks. But enough that you can see that this room is just full of cobwebs and ruined furniture. This place is abandoned. Mm-hmm. No question.
Well, I'm going to first move to the door and see if I can open it.
Okay. There is a bar across the door. So you can agility me that because you can hear her coming up the steps. And she is very quick.
Oh, Otto, you fool.
Is that a failure or a success?
That is a failure.
I'm gonna use a fate point. I think I got one left after that.
All right. The bar is up. You fumble with the bar, and you can see her. She moved very quickly, and as she gets to the top of the stairs, she just pauses like a cat ready to pounce for just a moment, and you get the bar open and force your way through the door out onto the street.
Yeah.
And you stumble out onto the street there.
My lord. Do I recognize where I am? Or?
Make a will check. See if you have your wits about you enough. Yep. Okay. You actually vaguely recognize the street. You haven't been here very often, but you are right here.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, let me see.
We walked right by this.
Can you ping that again so I can see it?
Yeah, hold on a second. I'll actually put you there.
Yes, that's where you saw the shadowy figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there.
Well, in theory, the guards should be coming there. If it.
How well are they gonna do?
You hear the guards. They are very close by. In fact, you hear somebody pounding on a door right around the corner there, going, "Wake up! Wake up! Organize! There's witches in town!"
Mm-hmm. Otto basically just runs straight south. Like, just he thinks about yelling out, right?
Yes.
But just like the guards are better than this thing, and maybe it won't follow him. But he knows if the guards catch him, his fate might be a little better, but not good in any anyway either.
Yeah, it seems like he's just rushing. Yeah, that makes sense. He's just tearing along south. Okay, so yeah, you tear along south there. Fortunately for you, you don't see anybody immediately right around here.
Okay, and I'm assuming I'm completely unarmed, right?
You do not have your pistol anymore.
Or the knife. Is that correct?
The dagger, yeah.
Okay. All right. So he looks and happens to see the same building as Wrecker and Reinhold, I guess. I mean, I'm not trying to meta, but I mean, I think that's probably at first he probably like looks in both directions and is like frantically having no idea what to do. He knows the gate is the other direction, but he knows that there will be guards in that direction.
Right.
So
and Otto is in hyper adrenaline awareness mode now because you didn't panic at any point during that. So I would say your survival instinct has totally kicked in and very quick to see things and react and move. Now you're high alert.
Yeah,
So
he like looks and sees if he can climb just straight over the wall and realizes that he couldn't reach it. And so and then he sees, oh, there's a building I can get on, and maybe then I can get on top, and he just books it for it.
And I would say that took him all of about 1 second to figure all that out.
So my quandary is what's in the building?
So go ahead and make an agility check, because I'd say he's just going to run and make like a running run up, like run, climb, jump up the wall kind of thing. Oh yeah.
ready to fucking leave.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, you vault yourself up like
the most athletic thing he's ever done in his life.
Yeah, exactly. And you get up on the roof, and there's a guard there, and he just screams bloody murder and runs the other way again. He starts yelling, "It's back! It's back!"
Otto literally, he basically doesn't even think about like holding on to the side of the wall, and he just gets to the edge and just jumps off.
Okay. Give me an agility with 2 banes then. It's a tough one, but that totally makes sense. You're gonna take some damage there. That's a bad call. That's 5. That could have been a lot worse. You take 5, so I'll give you the 5.
Below average. No.
Yeah, that wasn't really bad at all.
No.
You're just going crazy. Yeah, you hit hard, and you feel it, but you also kind of don't feel it.
Right.
And you just take off.
Yeah, he runs down the hill and basically just starts booking it down the road as fast as he can and runs probably until he kind of comes to his senses and realizes, where am I going to go?
Anymore. Yeah, you can't run anymore.
And as he stops, he kind of like drops to his knees and just like heavy breathing, right? And just holding his head and just like scared shitless, basically.
Yeah. Are his pants soiled at all?
No, since he passed the willpower, I will say he did not crap his pants.
Okay, no, yeah, and he didn't pee himself either.
I'm saying he probably peed a little, but
maybe.
Yeah.
It might be mixed in all the sweat because I'm sure he
it's
was
just sweat. It's just stinky sweat. That's all it is. Yeah.
You look like you got something on your shorts.
Yeah. Okay. I think since you guys had discussed the possibility of having to go to that bandit hideout, I think Otto would figure that out. Obviously, that's where they went, but I think it would make sense. Otto would think that would probably be the most logical place that they would have gone.
Yeah, I think that was my plan out of character, right? But for the time being, so I that was my plan in general. But I mean, I don't know that Otto would head all the way to Shadowshade. He has no idea where they are anyway. He doesn't know if they're out of there or not. But he's not going back there. Hell no.
Yeah. I would say it makes sense that you eventually all meet up at the bandit hideout. However you all manage to get there.
That was horrific.
That definitely happens. All right, why don't we take a quick break and a little bio break, and then we will rejoin ourselves at the bandit hideout.
All right. Good time for restroom break after sphincter pucker for the last 5 minutes or so. Every roll is
Yeah, I was like, okay, I hope I don't go through my fate points, because if I fail one roll, I'm going to just automatically use it immediately. There was no question in my mind.
Yeah.
You don't need your eye. Yeah, I don't want you to have them, though.
Yes, that could have gone very badly.
God.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, nice. See everybody just gathered around having a nice drink at the table.
So, what did you do today?
Oh, you know. I'm going to fucking sleep whenever we get to the cave. Fucking scaring the shit out of the town guard is hard work.
Wait till Tet's asleep and then just go, wakey, wakey.
We have some conversations to have. Oh, man. That's pretty rowdy. That was scary as fuck. I feel so bad now. I don't know what we could have done to figure that out, or to what we would have done if we found that, but fuck, man, I feel bad. Oh, God.
Yes, I would say the two of you arrive there first, and Otto arrives there. You guys get there like just as the sun is coming up, and he gets there probably another 2 hours later because his ankle got twisted and it took him a little longer. So, you can. I'm not going to hide anything. It will not enforce the sign of line of sight. You should be able to see everything at least. It may be a little dark, but you can see. So Otto arrives, and how does that go?
He basically comes into the camp and like looking around, and the first thing he does behind himself is try to bar the door. So he's basically not being quiet at all. Like before he even sees or knows that they're here, he basically shuts the door and bars it as best he can.
What the bandits had done and what you would have to do is stack up some crates or barrels.
And that's what he tries to do.
There's no actual bar.
Yeah, he'll try to block the door. He just starts throwing crates in front of it, just haphazardly, right?
Yep.
As quickly as he can.
So you two guys hear all this ruckus out there in the other room.
Coming in first, I'd want to scout it because one of the guys did get away.
Oh, it's quite dead here. It's very quiet. The interesting thing you would have found, though, that you didn't notice before as you've had time to walk around is I'm just going to turn off the light for a minute so you can see everything. There is sort of an escape back way.
Cool.
There's a Reinhold clone in the cart. Look out. It's not me, Dad.
I don't see it. That's weird.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, underneath that. I was looking for you on here. I left you on here. I was like, where is he? All right. So yeah, you guys hear Otto out there. Well, you don't know it's Otto actually. So of course you attack and kill him. But But yeah, yeah, you see him throwing when you go to see what it is. I'm sure very cautiously. Your first thought is probably somebody tracked you here, but it's just Otto, exhaustedly but frantically kind of throwing stuff against the door.
Wrecker would, of course, come into the room with sword and shield ready to bear.
Mm-hmm.
And once he sees it's Otto, he gets infuriated, sheathes his sword, drops his shield, and just goes stomping over to him and tries to grab him to slam him up against the wall.
Yeah, there's not much resistance as far as Otto's concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wrecker will pick him up and slam him against the wall and just look at him and growl. I'm sure you got a look of terror in your face already, so...
He's kind of like blankly looking at you. He's like, "Oh, Wrecker." And he kind of like sighs and he goes, "Reinhold, is Reinhold here?"
Wrecker won't answer. He just continues to growl and looks at you very sternly, and after an awkward silence, he just goes, "You've got some damn splaining to do." Just tosses you down to the side.
Yeah, he kind of like falls to his knees, but doesn't like. I mean, after that, he's not overly frightened by that display. He's just kind of like a wet noodle, right? He's just kind of like rolls over on his side and takes some very deep breaths as he lays there.
Lean back and go, "Boy, your father's here."
And Reinhold's walking over and he's using the quarterstaff as support, and I look like shit. Like I am wasted, essentially. But I walk up and, "Easy, Wrecker, peace. Nearly killed him when he came in the door." "Father, what happened? We looked for you at the bookstore."
And he just kind of like continues to stammer. It doesn't seem like he's gonna get it out that easy.
I'd go over and crouch down, put a hand on his shoulder. "Easy, Father, relax. We're safe enough here as it is."
I don't know about that, Reinhold. He like gulps.
Why?
Basically. I was accosted in the alleyway and taken to a room, and I was bound. And he kind of like shows his hand, which is probably lost some skin there, you know.
Yeah, it should be bandaged up, but you haven't even thought to bandage it up.
No, absolutely not. He did not.
Even
stop
in the
for very
hours it
long.
took you to get here, yeah.
And it's like dried blood and, you know, all that stuff. And he just basically shakes his head.
He's showing a wounded hand. Wrecker will grab it with his palm and flick it from side to side, very, not really uncaring, pretty much uncaring. Like, look at the wound, see how severe it is. Then he'll give another look down to Otto, and then he'll finally let out a grunt and a sigh. And he'll start looking around, trying to see if the bandits left like any cask of wine or meat or anything around.
Yeah, you probably would have already done that. You've been here a couple hours. Yeah, you would have found some. There's some wine that went sour, but you find some mead and some ale.
And cack it open, pour it in whatever container I can find, and hand it back to Otto.
Yep.
Oh, he like guzzles it, right? Just like straight pounds it, and like takes a deep breath, and then just looks at Reinhold. And says, and he's like having a hard time like vocalizing what he's trying to say. I was accosted in restraints, and your mother. It was her, but not her. A demon, a spirit. I don't know.
Are you sure? Are you certain it wasn't just the cult playing tricks on you?
Oh, no. It was her, Reinhold. It was... She was deformed. She was going to pluck out my eyes. And he
How
kind
did
of
you
like...
escape?
I was lucky. I was able to wrench my hand free and free the bonds, and then I ran. I've never ran so fast. And I don't think she followed me once I came out into the street. And then I climbed a house and jumped off the wall. And he kind of reaches down and kind of rubs his ankle as he now kind of realizes how bad it's hurting.
Yeah. His foot's like at a 90-degree angle to his ankle. No, I'm just kidding. But it's swollen and badly bruised. Yeah.
Sprain, probably. And so Reinhold's trying to take it all in.
Yeah, it suddenly hurts to stand. This is the first time you've kind of really thought about it, and now that you're aware of it, it really hurts.
Yeah.
Come along, Father. Let's get you on one of the bedrolls here towards the back.
We need to find a way. What are we gonna do?
Right now, we need to rest. We need to think about everything that's happened, everything you told me, and I just sort of deadpan stare and shake my head. It's disturbing that she might still be alive in that form.
I don't know
rest.
if it's life. I do know what it was, but it was not her. It was her image, but she was something else. I can't explain it.
Nonetheless, Father, you're in poor shape. We must rest. Come along. I'd give him my shoulder and help walk him back to the bedrolls where they are in the back here.
Okay.
Yeah, he basically will follow along, but not really say anything. Still scared out of his mind.
Okay.
So, after helping Otto to the back, I would make sure the back door is barred sufficiently, as I assume that Otto threw just about every crate in the front room in front of that door.
Yes. That door actually has like a little latch that can be closed on it, but it's not super secure.
Let's go ahead and move something in front of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do that.
After which, if Record is going to treat Otto's wounds at all, I would assist if I was asked to, but otherwise, Reinhold would spend some time reading and writing before he went to sleep, and it's going to be a long sleep, because it has been a long, long night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd say you're all pretty tired. Certainly, Wrecker is the least exhausted of all of you, but still, it was a rough night.
Yeah. Otto would basically try not to sleep, likely, just due to fear, but he's so exhausted from basically the adrenaline dump of all that and his difficult journey back here with his bum ankle that he eventually does pass out.
That's right, Wrecker has spear pokes on him.
You have what? Sorry?
He was stabbed and niched a couple times by spears in the last fight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
And if there's water or actual alcohol.
Oh, yeah, I see. Probably not alcohol. I mean, there's ale. That's about the, and there's that sour wine.
Yummy.
There's like a creek not too far from here, so you can get fresh water if you need it.
Yeah, definitely need to wash and irrigate the wounds.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you tend to that. Get some sleep.
Yeah, soldier's watch. Sword on the ground, forehead to the pommel, sitting on the edge of a crate.
Okay. Well, the night passes pretty unevent, or the day rather, really passes pretty uneventfully. So I'll just let you guys take it at whatever pace you want. You seem to be pretty safe here for the moment.
Record probably be the first up. Just stand over the boy and look down at him, watch him while he's sleeping. Recollects his display of power and watches you as you sleep. Sees if there's any kind of inner workings going on while you slumber.
I suppose that's what I would wake up to.
Yep.
And so I wake up and see Wrecker standing there and just sort of furrow my brow a bit, but then lean up and crack my neck, stretch a bit. Good morning, Wrecker.
Doesn't say anything, walks over to your father.
It's actually now it's dark again. when
Good.
Good.
Good
Yeah.
sleep schedule we've got going here.
So when Wrecker kind of gets close, Otto like jolts up to a seated position. It's like, idiot, no, idiot! And he kind of looks up and realizes it's Wrecker, and he kind of just takes his hands or his head and puts them in his hands and like wipes the sweat off his brow.
Wrecker looks highly confused, still somewhat agitated, but ultimately relents and makes sure there's a blanket around you is secure because he knows what shock can do to a person. And you're obviously in shock.
Yeah, he just kind of slumps up. Good.
Yeah, pretty much silently brooding over things still.
Yeah,
Then
he
I'll
kind of
start-
pushes his back up against the wall and just sits there and looks over at Reinhold and then Wrecker and doesn't really say much at the moment.
Start meandering about the crates if there's any hardtack or something we might be able to eat.
Sure. You figure you've got about 2 or 3 weeks of provisions here that you could subsist on.
Dish some out and then do the patrol again, start handing them out, eat. You need just strength. Go over to Otto. Says, find the room in your stomach for this. Be sure to eat it all.
He takes it and kind of puts it in his lap and doesn't really start eating it right away.
About how long do you think? Because if it's too terribly long, I said eat.
Yeah, it's long enough where you would jump up.
Yeah.
He takes a bite of it and just kind of like chews it, but doesn't really say anything. Swallows. And sits there in silence.
Hell, I ain't shy. I'll be chomping down. Drinking me some mead.
Rhino would eat his tack, get some mead maybe, and then lean back and read a book, write a little bit as well. And I don't look too concerned, I guess, more Like I'm seeing certain things in the books of pages and sort of smirking at stuff back and forth, and just I seem fairly relaxed mood despite what transpired.
I mean, Otto's completely kind of like not thinking about what he probably should be, which is what they should do next. Instead, he's pretty haunted, so he's not really starting a discussion about such things currently.
How much time has passed? Because it takes about 2 days to get back to the town that we came from.
To go back to Shadowshade, yeah. That's go back to the map. You guys are now over here. Yeah, it's about a 2-day journey back.
This is roughly 1 day into it so far.
Yeah, you guys have stayed here about less than 24 hours, sir.
Yeah, so another day and a half. They'll make their way down there, probably seize your property and ransack it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so after a little time passes, I would put down my book, whatever I was reading, put down my mug. Well, I think it's a good time to discuss what we should do next. And I would look over to Otto.
He doesn't really respond. He just kind of looks up at you.
It's time to start thinking again, Father.
He finally kind of rubs his beard and... Perhaps I'm not the one to be doing the thinking, Reinhold. If you have an idea of what to do next, I will follow along.
Well, let's look at what we can't do first. Certainly, we're not going back to Philton anytime soon. And I don't believe that, given the time we've spent here already, that we're going to beat them back to Shadowshade. So I would say that those two options are fairly off the table.
Especially if Philton brands us as witches. We'd be probably burned on sight.
Otto simply nods in agreement. You're a wizard, friend. And he kind of shakes his head. That note, he's a friend of Simon. We can't go there either.
We could potentially seek out Mercer, but I personally think it's a poor choice as well. She disdains civilization for the most part. I don't believe she would approve of anything that I've done in the last night, nor anything you've done.
Perhaps we can tell her about the sons of Simon. Maybe there's some connection. She does not seem like she would be involved in such things. I don't know. Whatever she is doing, perhaps it is different.
She's
Maybe they are
dangerous.
enemies. What other choice do we have? If we cannot go to the wizard, and we cannot go to Shadowshade, and we cannot go to Philton, does this become our home?
You have to admit it is fairly homey. Nice, dark, secluded, away from any troubles. But no, I don't think we could stay here forever before they found out about it.
There's something that also I am disturbed by, certainly. Hans had said that I was safe, but then, not more than 10-15 minutes after he was killed, I was hunted down by this ghoul, or whatever it was, posing as your mother, and I was in restraints. How did this thing know this? No one else knew this.
Hans was a dealer in doublespeak and half-truths. He might have said you were safe from the actual members of this group that you were involved in, not necessarily their creations, or anything that might have been associated with them. I believe we might have found who our murderer was, not that the late captain can do anything about it now.
Hopefully it keeps murdering those bastards. He kind of frowns and looks down.
What say you, Wrecker? Though you could just walk out and leave us here, I doubt any would recognize you as part of our little escapades.
I have thought about this. I could have left in the middle of the night while you two were slumbering. Now I listen on and listen to your tongues as they waggle with hidden meaning. Nobody here has taken the time to explain what the bloody hell's going on. One time you tell me that you shoot the man that murdered your wife. The next you're ranting on about how your wife has returned. I want to know who I'm dealing with, and I wish to know now. Else I'll walk out and just leave you two to fend for yourselves.
Otto looks at Reinhold.
Otto.
Yeah. They look at each other. And he looks back at Wrecker and... Well, I'll tell you what I know. I think pretty much I've said this that you've heard with Hans there. I was courted to join these Sons of Simon, and I, for lack of better judgment, began to join their meetings and such. Fairly nonsense, was to me anyway. But Hans at the time was a close friend, and he said that it would help me grow in Philton society, so I did. And one night, I was in the bookstore alone, and as he had mentioned, there was something that said, Right of Prosperity. Well, I could not help myself, and I chanted the incantations, and then the next morning, my wife was not in the bed with me, but instead it was a pile of goo and blood and guts.
You joined what the Mamluk used to call the cabal?
I suppose.
A society, they were sorcerers and want to be magicians.
Yes, I did. I have no knowledge of such things, however, no skill in such things, and he kind of looks at Reinhold. Like him.
Wrecker gets a little bit of old school religion from the old gods. He does the equivalent to whatever, grabbing a little totemic item around his neck or whatever. Does the sign of the serpent cross or whatever over his forehead. He says, foolish man, mortals do not plunder. I can't forget the word. It says mortals are not meant to mess around with forces they do not understand.
Yes, I know this now. As Hans said in the jail, it was a trap, and that trap killed Idgith, my wife, and Reinhold's mother. Yes, there's blame on my head as well. And I apologize to you, Reinhold, but there was blood on his hands as well, and I could not very well let the man throw it in my face while I stood there and did nothing.
I heard him say that he was the one who killed your wife, but What is this you speak of that you've seen her?
Yes, I do not know. It's just, like I said, when I woke up, I had a headache and I was bound to a table full of blood. Some sort of sacrificial altar, perhaps, I do not know. And I waited there, conscious, for no more than a few moments before, well, something looking like my former wife walked in. She knew me. She called me by my name. She was strong, pinned my head down to the table. And then went in to grab what looked like a knife, a spoon, I don't know. But I don't know what I saw. Perhaps I saw bottles of squishy parts, eyes, tongues, ears. She said she was going to take my eyes. And I was fortunate enough that my hands are small. He kind of gives like a little chuckle and like lifts his damaged hand. And I was able to slip free and then unlock myself, and then I ran so fast. I've never even thought I could run so fast. It was like a rabbit. And I was out the door, and then I fled, and here I am. That's all I know, Wrecker.
But this thing you saw, search your heart. Was it your wife? I need to know.
I do not know, Wrecker. It looked like her. It could have been her. I never saw her body dead. Just the blood, the guts. And I assumed. So it could have been. She knew me, as I said. She knew things, and she did not get into specifics before I fled.
Did she look like she used to? There are tales of my people, of the Draugr. They once again were reasoning to walk, but those souls are usually truly damned.
She certainly looked like her, but deformed, vile, rotten. But if not for those things, She had malice in her heart, certainly.
Tis truly a disturbing tale. And you, boy, with your shows with magic, why did you do the things you did? You should have killed no one.
They should not have imprisoned us in the first place. And I am all alone in this world, if not for my father, though he has made many mistakes, some of which I will never forgive. I did not intend to see him face the hangman's noose, not while I'm alive, not while I could prevent it.
We were there to prove our innocence, though.
We were given little choice.
There, looks over to Otto and goes, that is.
Otto kind of shrugs and says, although I wished Reinhold wouldn't have gotten involved. The captain, he admitted it before his death. He was a son of Simon. His death, I would kill him 1,000 times.
As would I if I found the man that killed my wife. That is not important. What is important is the sons of Simon, where they come after us, in addition to the town that we fled, in addition to the town that we used to live in.
And Otto,
I can't swing my sword that many times.
You won't have to. And Reinhold just looks very calm and is drinking the mead again.
I'm weaponless, Otto says. I think the best option would be to try to escape. But where? don't know if his geography's too hot, right?
Well, the only other real civilized places are to the. If I have, should go to the big map. Not that you've been around, but you would at least have a knowledge of the. We are where the the square is down here, and Philton is here. There are a couple of towns, as you can see, on the east coast. There's a very small town up here on the Bone Marsh, but it's really run down.
This is Philton right here?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So Foundry is the biggest city of any consequence nearby, relatively nearby. Or if you go east to the Coast Gateway, Crossings is kind of the big capital city of the province, the imperial capital east of the province.
Hey, we can go down here and make our name and good fortune.
We've had a lot of it so far.
No one named that with an eye to try to get people to come there. Like Greenland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As you're contemplating where we might be able to run, intermittent amount of time later, Wrecker will be rubbing his big bearded face and just go, there's also the option too. We could prove our innocence further by routing out these sons of Simon.
Otto nods, but doesn't really say anything for the moment.
But is that going to prove our innocence with the murder of the captain?
It doesn't matter. My assumption is everyone of worth and note in Philton is already a member of the Sons of Simon. I mean, that's literally what Otto thinks, right?
Yeah, of course.
That Gary Kell, I'm sure he is one of them.
I'm not sure Mr. Kell is as influential as you think, Father. But, nonetheless, I think one of the few options we have that isn't an outright failing option is to speak with Mercer. Though perhaps we should be light on the details of why we're not allowed in Philton or Shadowshade, unless she gives us no other option but to come forth with the information.
Do you think we should tell her about the Sons of Simon? I think this would be, well, either very wise or very stupid. I'm not sure which, honestly. You're the one who knows her. Could she be a son of Simon? Does they exist other places than Philton? I do not know.
I would shake my head. She is no son of Simon. You've seen what she is. She is a worshipper of nature. The sons of Simon seem infatuated with power and darkness and things like that, which, I will admit, it does have its merits, but she preached against the uncontrolled use of magic to me before. She is not one of them. Whether or not she will be amenable to us if she hears the whole truth of what we've gotten ourselves into, I can't say. I don't know her that well.
If she's a shaman, yeah, she'll be wise. But also, too, she'll be very all-seeing. I suggest we tell her everything. If she helps us, she helps us. If not, we go somewhere else.
I suppose that's one of the only options we have, other than just living in here for the rest of our lives.
Wrecker will sigh heavily and contemplate a little more, and he'll just go, I will help you do what you need to do for the time being, but know this. If you run us back into danger, or lie to me ever again, or leave things out, I shall leave. Fare better on my own as it is.
Understood.
Otto doesn't say anything. He nods. This is definitely, from Reinhold's perspective, the least talking that Otto has ever done in his life, as far as he knows.
It's simultaneously refreshing and disturbing. Because he knows something's wrong, but the silence is nice.
Yeah, I don't think Reinhold has gone this long without getting wrapped on the back of the head.
Or told to pull the cart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm not sure I'm going to be telling him to pull a cart anymore. Spikes go through my butt or something. Well, we should be careful heading back towards the south, certainly. Perhaps not travel on the road.
Yes, Reinhold.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure before I did any refreshing.
And we're still injured at the same amount?
You can all heal back your healing.
All of it? Is that what she said?
Whatever your healing rate is, you heal
that's
back.
right. Okay. Yeah.
You've had enough time to get that back.
Yay, healing rate 5.
Yeah, you're a pretty fast healer.
That's pretty good.
Yes, Wrecker appears to have grown in stature last few days.
He's kicked off that rust. Now he's remembering what a warrior feels like.
Combat muscles coming back.
Yeah. Was very rusty and probably seemed like you were a little embarrassed there. Shamed into taking all this very seriously. Getting your face back.
It might be that I can convince the Lord if we get caught, but he seemed like a fool. The priesthood, perhaps them too, I don't think they're going to think I'm some sort of holy man or anything like that. I already attempted that, and that didn't seem to go over so well, but if I could turn them against Simon, perhaps that would work too, but I would rather not risk it.
We should avoid Shadowshade and Philton unless we are forced to go there for any reason. Just work our way straight to Mercer's home if possible. Take the side roads, side past anything we can to avoid contact on the road. You should also see if you can find something around here to arm yourself with.
And he, for the first time, realizes it's without his pistol, and he frowns deeply. Oh! Damn it! And he gets up and kind of hobbles around and looks for something.
I would say there's probably a dagger lying around somewhere that you guys missed the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he takes it and curses. I don't want to get close enough to someone to stab them. Foolishness. For me, at least. He, Well, when should we leave then? Now or first light?
I think first light would be best.
Yeah, Wrecker's responsibility. That depends on you, and reaches down and squeezes your foot. Does it hurt?
He went. He winces and he's like, "Well, it does now."
How about when I do this? Yeah.
At least you got your voice back.
Yeah, I think Otto could do with another day of recuperating, but you could tough it out if you had to.
Yeah, I'm down 4 now after last night, but
Take a rest. Take a rest, Dad.
Otto is kind of reticent to do that. Well, if we wait, then they're certainly to get to Shadowshade before us, and perhaps try to bar our way and catch us.
They would not know where we are going. We can avoid Shadowshade to get to Mercer's.
I don't think the cantankerous old man there in Shadowshade would let them stay very long. He'd probably tell them no, seize our lands, and then tell them to get the hell out of town. He's town.
Very well. And he just takes a cup of mead. If he's gonna stay, he's gonna sleep. So starts drinking.
Okay.
I keep the foot up like this. Push it up on the crate.
Puts it up and drops it on the crate like.
Yeah. Stumbling about in the dark is bad enough, but doing so only on one foot is even worse.
It will be fine. It already feels much better.
Start trying to think of the way we traveled. What kind of terrain we have as far as concealment and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can go here. You don't know all of this, obviously, but it's hilly for a while until you can see there's forested area to the south of you, lightly forested hills over here. Yeah, and forested down here. You know that Mirsa lives down here.
Well, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
So, how do you plan to go? Show me.
Well, this is a church, so let's right.
Yeah, that's the abbey there.
Let's see.
Like straight south to here, then just cross, and then down straight south again. I don't know how big this river is, and if we would need to ford it or.
Yeah.
Around there, it's mostly swampy. She lives in a swamp area,
Yes,
so it's
that's
very
right.
marshy. And yeah, none of you have ever been to this side, the northern side of that.
I think
Sure.
I think we should head south, cross the road, and then I mean, we're gonna cut by the church, but at the same time, they're not. Are they actively looking for us right now? It's only been a couple days, so we don't know that. So we'll see.
They probably spread word that we're witches. They know where we came from. Because 2 of the guards were the ones that came and got us. They'd probably stop at the church. And basically, have you had any travelers, freeloaders witch hunt, blah, blah, blah. Continue down to Shadowshade. At least that's what my gut would tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Know about fording that river. That's my main line. If we were just go straight across down like that, we'd have to ford the river.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Darren was saying that it was mostly just swamp, so I don't know if we would actually have to ford a river or not.
Do we really want to go through a swamp, though?
Yeah.
I don't. I've been over there. I don't want to go through the swamp.
Yeah, you know a way through. She showed you a way through. And it starts... It assumed you were coming from Shadowshade. It's not from the northern side of the river. You could easily get lost in that marsh.
I would rather not go in the marsh.
Okay. Yeah, so straight south and cut over, I guess.
Okay.
That's what everybody else is thinking. I don't know.
Okay. That's it's not particularly hard country, but it's trackless, so you kind of have to, wend your way around things and that. So it's going to take you the better part of a couple days to get down there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure it matters how long it takes at this point.
Yeah,
honestly.
it may not matter. And so it's also a little hard to judge exactly where you are relative to everything else. You don't have a map, you just have a sort of a general knowledge of the area. So, who is going to sort of be the guide here, making the calls as to where you are when it's time to cut over that?
Probably would not be me.
I mean, I would take the lead as we're getting closer to the marsh, but I don't know shit about hiking, really.
As a mercenary, remember you actually wrote in part of my history was raiding up and down the coast. There's always to navigate by stars.
Yep. It's more a question of not knowing exactly what you're looking for at the time. This isn't familiar country to you at all. So it's just sort of like you're going to make a general, when you start coming to denser woods, it's about time to start heading east.
Yeah.
But as to whether you're going due south, not exactly, because you have to take a lot of, cuts around things, gullies and things like that.
Yeah, I can try to lead.
Okay. So you can do an intelligence check for me, and I'll let you add a boon due to your kind of ranging kind of experience.
Okay.
All right. So you're off a bit.
We're back at the cave.
Yeah, exactly.
We're back at Philton. Whoops.
Oh no.
Okay.
It's not like the open sea, I tell you that.
Okay, so you start cutting east on the third day. And at one point you come to the road, and you actually when you get to the road, you can all make a perception check. It shouldn't be too terribly hard.
Just straight up?
Yep. Reinhold?
For some reason I couldn't click my token there, so let me see if I can do it off my...
You're still under the cart.
I can do it for you. I can make you roll.
Oh.
Look at that. See, when I make you roll, I'm awesome. Okay. Yeah. So Wrecker, so actually Reinhold, you're the first to say you recognize where you are. You're about here, you think. You can you can just make out what you're almost certain to be where the abbey is to the south. You don't actually see the abbey, but you know it must be probably there.
Everyone stop.
You traveled this road before.
Yeah.
More than anybody else, so.
Yeah, as soon as I recognize it, everyone stop.
What
Too
is
close.
it?
The abbey is just over the rise there. We're not far enough south.
Well, should we backtrack then?
Perhaps a bit. We could take the road, but can we... Is there anything to cover our faces as we're walking along there? I mean, I'm going to throw a hood up if we're going to take... We could take the road and we could be sure, but I think we should, if we have cowls or hoods, perhaps wear those.
Excuse me, Reinhold, but that is not going to look too suspicious, is it? He's kind of... old Otto is kind of coming back a little bit as...
I doubt the Abbey folk are going to send out anyone to challenge us walking on the road from this distance. But if there is someone traveling the road, I'd rather they not see who we are.
Just shrugs. Now I say backtrack and head south for an hour and then cut over again.
I suppose better safe than sorry. Wrecker, if you want to take the lead once more.
Just grunt. Let's tromp back. You two that way. I'll make sure nothing comes behind us.
Okay.
I give a good crouch and squat. See if there's anything going around.
Okay. I'm sorry, where are you again?
They don't,
You're pulling back from the
Yeah, where we're gonna go
and heading south? Yeah.
this
Okay.
way and then come south.
Okay.
Well, the idea is this way.
Yeah, as you get close to the road, you actually see this guy. You vaguely recognize him because he has sort of been in Shadowshade before as sort of an understudy of whatever priest is ministering at the time. And you see him walking north along the road.
Was he part of the two that were chatting me up about religion?
He was listening, but not chatting you up.
Okay.
He seemed very deferential to whoever was in charge.
Does he seem like he sees us at this time?
He does not. He looks very... you can make a perception roll, actually. Perception.
Okay, I know why I didn't have access to my thing before. It's because I was as in the measuring thing.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I've done that many times. Oh my goodness. Wow, you're doing amazing. You are so you can see that he is deeply troubled. And looks upset. And your impression is that he looks reluctant to keep going.
Hmm. I'm tempted to just not bother with him, just let, if he hasn't seen us yet, just leave, but I'm also curious.
It would be nice to know what's going on.
I'll approach him.
Okay.
Otto looks very, not perturbed, but a bit like worried about that move.
Yeah, Reinhold just kind of breaks out from behind the bush, whatever you were hiding, and he doesn't even see you at first.
I would call out. I think I would remember his name.
Cole. Yeah, you
Yeah.
seem like the type who would learn people's names.
Cole.
Otto would say, "Hey, you."
Yeah.
Otto has no remembrance of this person.
I would wave at him as I come off the side of the road. Cole, and I would smile and be friendly-ish.
He says, "Oh, Master, I'm sorry, I forgot."
Reinhold.
Yes, Master Reinhold. Odd meeting you here. I'm sorry I didn't see you.
Oh, apologies, I wasn't on the road. I was off to the side. That's relieving myself.
Wow.
What brings you out away from the Abbey? My understanding is that you're very busy there most days.
There's been something of an incident.
How do you mean?
Not sure I'm supposed to talk to you about it.
Cole, my friend, I don't mean to pry or anything, but you seem deeply troubled by it. I think that perhaps you need to get it off your chest. Roosting on something that's so... I don't think I've ever seen you so deep in thought, so bothered by something. I know we haven't seen each other much, but you seem fairly, well, nervous, but not quite bothered as you are right now.
Well, I've seen my brother murdered. Not an easy thing to see.
Murdered? Who?
Jacob. Do you know him?
Do I know Jacob?
You probably met him once. Again, briefly. He's the youngest of the brothers at the Abbey. And he came down to serve as priest for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought him back.
What happened to dear Jacob Cole?
It's almost certain that he was strangled.
Have they found the murderer?
No, but Brother Tyrion, he's in charge of the Abbey now, and its absence, yeah, he was certain of it. He studied the body and found the marks on his neck. It was strangled with, he believes, a rope of some kind. I probably shouldn't be telling you this. It's Abbey business, and well, he sent me to see if I could seek the help of Lord Shadowshade, but he seems uninterested in our troubles.
And I would put a reassuring hand on Cole's shoulder. I'm sorry to hear that, Cole. To witness death is a troubling thing.
Well, I thank you for your comfort. And, well, I suppose I wish you well.
Indeed. I would pat him on the shoulder again. Have you heard any word from Shadowshade? Has anything happened there recently other than this business? I am just curious. We have been out of town for some time, and we were just on our way back.
I believe everything is quiet there. I did not see anything amiss.
I see. Well, Cole, I do appreciate you sharing that with me, and I hope that despite what happened to your brother, that you find peace in the coming days.
Your words are kind, sir. God bless you.
God bless you as well. I pat him on the shoulder and half bow, and then return back down off the side of the trail.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of continues on his way then.
And dropping the facade as I walk back among the group, I would relay this information to them about what happened, and just, it appears there was a murder at the Abbey.
There's a great deal of murdering going on, certainly. Likely one of your friends?
It didn't seem so. This was done with a rope, not magic. He was not sacrificed. It is interesting timing, however. There seems to be quite a bit of upheaval here.
No mention of guards or anyone from Philton?
Nothing as far as the initiate was aware. He said all seems to be quiet in Shadowshade at this time. But then he was quite disturbed, and he had went to Shadowshade on his own business, so it's possible he had not been listening either.
Either way, I don't think it changes anything for the moment.
Brother Tyrion, this character, was the guy who is the very vigilant, tattooed individual that is, he did the burning?
No,
different one.
Nope. I don't know that you've actually met Tyrion.
Mm-hmm.
The one that you met, quickly look him up. I forget his name.
I met the old guy that when I was with...
Nicholas was the one that was the zealous, tattooed one.
Okay, so he's not leading the... That's good, then. Not that murder affects us at this point.
I'm sure we'll get blamed for it at some point.
Can't be in two places at once. You only murdered like 2 or 3 people.
It's hard to make out the real murderers from the fake murders.
Yeah. I think I would just relate them information and then carry on, I think, if there's...
Okay. You push across the road. It's quiet. And it's not, once you're back in semi-familiar territory, that hard to find your way to the swamp, and then you can look for signs of the old track. And it may take you a little while, but you eventually find it. And it is getting dark by the time you get to Mearce's, however. So you see, I need to put you on there. You may have torches. Wish. Something you would have traveled with if you needed it.
torch in one hand, staff in the other.
Otto has a lot of free hands.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Just a guy without a gun. Even my macro's gone. I'm sad.
Even my macro's gone. Boo-hoo.
Shouldn't have got caught by your wife, bro.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make you move down. I'll just move you down through. You can just kind of see. You have to follow a sort of path, or you have a really hard time. And then you can see that she is. The little hut is here. And you approach the hut, and what do you do?
I don't know if there's a code or anything we have, but I would knock.
Yeah, there's no special code. Okay. You knock, and there is a moment of pause, and then the door opens, and you can see her. She opens the door and immediately says, "Right, come in." And you can see a woman kind of looking curiously past her.
We would enter, or I would.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Interesting fella.
Yes.
Yeah, Otto kind of just peeks inside, right? And, like, making sure that he's extremely nervous about this whole thing.
Yeah, you see a towering creature there, just kind of standing, observing you.
He stands outside for a moment, and then very, very, very reluctantly steps through, but continues to look in that direction and look at Reinhold and look at Wrecker and nervously wring his hands in front of him as he's standing there.
Reinhold's pretty calm.
The other woman is looking very curiously at you and glancing at Mirsa, but she doesn't say anything. And Mirsa says, "Bailey, these are friends of mine. Friends, this is Bailey." He says, "Reinhold, Otto, Wrecker."
Wrecker step in, probably crouching under the doorway, stand up, looks kind of awkward, silent. And then when he spots that thing standing there, he gets defensive.
It's got a spear in its hand, just resting on the floor. The haft of the spear. He doesn't have it. You can see when you first walked in, he may have been ready, but when the mood is obviously relaxed here, he just kind of stands there calmly.
She makes introductions. I just quietly nod.
Mm-hmm. And she says, "What brings you here, Otto, and with company?"
Well, we have, on a recent trip to Philton, we have run into a bit of a situation. And I believe that you are one of the few friends we're going to have left. Well, potential friends, if you will hear what we have been through.
Please, she motions to the furs on the floor there. Have a seat then, friends. Bailey, make us all some tea if you would. And Bailey just kind of nods and goes over to mix some tea. And she comes and sits and waits for you all to sit down.
I would not have bothered you if I knew you were entertaining. I just sort of half smirked.
She says, Bailey is my companion these days. I am teaching her as I have been teaching you.
Oh, so I guess, following Wrecker's advice, that she will probably be... It's probably better to be forthcoming. I guess I will relate the tale as it is, as far as I understand it, and let anyone else fill in the blanks on their end. And let's see what happens.
Yeah, hit me with the high points with your explanation. Obviously, you don't have to tell me the whole tale, but I would say there are events that happened in the jail. There's Otto's story. I'm just not sure what exactly all you are telling.
I am
spinning it.
So how I'm gonna spin. I'm definitely gonna spin some things. If she can perceive it however she wants to. This is how it is from my perspective. So I would explain, of course, the journey from why we were going to Philton in the first place. It was not something that we wished to do, but something that we were sort of browbeaten, I guess would be the best way to put it, into doing. We were required to be put in a cell by the captain of the guard as per his investigation to prove our innocence. A man who, according to my father, was the one who killed my mother, and more or less we heard him admit to being party to it, if not being directly responsible. He came, visited us in the prison. We were still equipped with our weapons. My father killed him. We found ourselves in a situation with the town guard where I felt I had no choice, or it was either to use my power or watch my father fall, or be hung. And so I used my magics to frighten and defeat the town guard that got in our way. After which we escaped.
Nods when you describe that part. She's looking at you a little curiously. You're not sure exactly what that means.
After which we escaped. We had lost track of my father in the time. I attempted to find him where we were going to go. We believed we knew where this cult of Simon was. These, whatever their purpose is, it's sinister. We did not see him there. The guard were out and about searching for us. We decided to leave. We went to only a place the three of us knew, as far as we know. We found my father enter a few hours later, and I would let Otto take the tale over for what his portion of it was. And then describe the journey here after that.
Yeah, Otto was going to... well, he's hoping that Rhino doesn't say that he was a member of the cult at one time, right?
No.
Yeah, he does not bring that part up at all.
No.
And basically tells the story because he thinks that she might have some sort of answers for him. And hopefully it doesn't bite him in the ass, but he basically tells her the story truthfully about how he was tied up and almost killed and fled and all that stuff.
And she says, and Wrecker, you are there's the god. Have you anything to add?
Were you talking to me? Could it cut out real bad?
Yes, she says, Wrecker, you and you have faith in the gods. She says, do you have anything to add to this tale?
You basically told him that you went there to prove your innocence. You didn't tell him that you started it all, though.
Well, I mean, I didn't say that I didn't shoot the guy. I mean, that was told. I think the only thing that really got left out is that I was a cult member.
Reinald spun it that the man came to taunt them in prison and admitted that he murdered Otto's wife, and so Otto killed him. And then there was, the guards mistook that as some sort of break or something, and there was a scuffle. Had no choice but to attack the guards and get out, or else Otto charged.
This man did what any other man would do when a loved one was killed. This I do not deny. Though they handled things rather rashly, I did not wish to shed blood, though I am no stranger to it. As for what's all this talk of, did you tell them about the society and all that stuff?
I just the only thing, I mean, yes, I mean in a general passing way. The only thing I really didn't say, and that has not been said, that I was a member of it at any point.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told the exact truth about the monster thing.
Yeah,
the wife monster.
Do you remember?
Seems that these two have found themselves amidst a cult or a cabal of some kind. Foul, miscreant creatures, mimicking the loved one that he lost. I do not know much more than this, but I do know that I have been accused of being a witch, and I am no witch. I am nothing more than a soldier and a blacksmith. I wish to try and clear my name, whatever path that may lead me.
She nods. She says, "It is foretold that cabals such as that will rise the end days. Men hastening the end or trying to take advantage of it." And she looks at you, Reinald, and she says, I can see the power on you. You have tasted it. Has it left you changed in any way? Have you learned anything?
And I would just sort of be silent for a moment and maybe a little.
An evasive answer, but she says, and so why do you come to me?
Well, we believe that with everything that's transpired, we cannot...
Of course, your tea has been passed around by the time we're all getting to this, and then she just sort of sits dutifully next to Mirsa and listens.
We don't believe that there is anyone else left to turn to. My father tells me that the wizard in the tower, he may be in league with the cult, according to some writing that he has. Shadowshade is likely to hear news of what happened in Philton. Philton, for obvious reasons, we cannot go back to. Our only option of recourse is to leave the region, for whatever that may be, or see what aid we could find here, what aid we could offer in return.
What aid would you seek? I can give you shelter for a time, but beyond that, I'm not sure what it is you wish.
Any knowledge that you might have of what we may be dealing with the cult? Anything?
She says, well, that is our greatest weakness. Truth is to be told. We avoid knowing such things. We have not, perhaps, been as vigilant as we should be. We have focused more on what we ought to be doing to prepare ourselves than we have in perhaps monitoring progress in places like these cults and cabals, as you put it. She says, I'm afraid I know little sons of Simon have told.
Darren,
It's
you're
not
cutting
the-
out a little bit there.
Oh, sorry.
I kind of missed some of that.
Yeah, she says, perhaps we have not been vigilant in monitoring such cults and cabals as you describe. I've not heard of these sons of Simon before, mentioned them, but it seems there is some darkness right on our doorstep.
Did you tell him about the recent bout of murders too?
That would be included as to why we were going up there. Because that was part of why we were going to Philton in the first place, to figure out the murders.
She says,
Yeah.
I am honestly torn in two directions on such matters. There are many among those I ally myself with who would counsel to stay out of these matters and instead focus on what we must do. Prepare ourselves, strengthen ourselves. I would argue that such things are inevitable. There is a part of me that wishes to do what can be done now to at least curb them or weaken them.
If
What
we
do you
found...
seek? What do you seek, Reinhold?
If I can be honest, I seek the power to overcome them. Because clearly they are not just a threat to me and what's left of my family, but to everything that is left.
Any road that involves power is a dangerous one, but I can see and hear that you are determined. You will walk that path, whether I say yes or no.
I have already started to.
And she just nods and smiles. If you are determined to take up power against them, I will do what I can to aid you, so long as it does not run counter to what I must do. But you know them better than I. They are about, and it is your world, to be honest, not mine. I have no ties to those circles.
Very well. You would offer us shelter for the night, at least?
Of course.
We shall leave early in the morning, then, if you will have us.
And what will you do?
I would look to Otto and Wrecker, and we must try to find someone who knows about the cult of Simon. I know of one person, I would look at Otto, hoping that he understands who I'm talking about.
He does. He nods.
We will go speak to him, whether he wishes to speak to us or not.
Otto kind of like rubs his beard, and he hasn't really said anything much besides kind of giving his tale. That might be difficult. And then he looks at Marissa and at the other girl and kind of looks down and shakes his head and says, "There are goings on regardless. We met a novice on the road who said that one of the priests had been killed." And then he kind of like shrugs his shoulders and he's like, "These can't all be random happenstances, can they?"
I do not believe in coincidence.
I agree. There have been no soldiers that have come down for Philton after us. That seems strange as well. Why is that?
People with secrets like to keep them in their own containment.
But we have the secret. And we are uncontained. A murder of a guard captain? Well, that is just embarrassing, but a cult secret? Perhaps I cannot prove it, but...
Perhaps they did not want unwanted attention without first collaborating on the stories of what to tell them.
Mirces says, "Wrecker, what is your desire?" You speak little.
My desire is not to have someone trying to claim my head, be it for crimes committed or for coin.
It seems you have not avoided that.
I wanted no part in this, but yet I feel obligated to these two. I cannot tell you why. Just that without my help, I fear that they will be lost within a day or two.
She nods. She says, "You are a man of faith. Perhaps the gods sent you to them."
As long as it wasn't Father Death, and he starts chuckling.
She says, "The intent of the gods is rarely clear."
Aye, we are each fated to what the gods wish. I know this. And if it not for the gods, these two would not be around me. I also too know this. I want nothing more than to forget about the past and live a normal life. Somehow, it seems like fate has other things in store for me. So by the gods, I'll face them head on.
She nods to that. She says, "Well, friends, sleep now. Perhaps you will have insight in them."
I would nod and wherever she's directing us to sleep as guests.
It's just really, she doesn't direct you anywhere. You can sleep wherever you want.
Otto looks at that abomination over there and looks very nervous about sleeping in this room.
The abomination stands outside while you sleep. He seems to be standing guard.
just sleep on the floor. I'm not gonna take their furs from them. I'm sure Otto's had me sleep on cobblestone floors plenty of times.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It is just a little damp around here.
Otto will sleep wherever.
Back
Okay.
against the wall.
Yes.
I have a lovely room for you down here in the fruit cellar.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm never going below ground again.
Let me get these chains and locks off first.
Yeah,
This would
you
be a
can
fun
feel
game.
It's just a little bit cooler over here.
Someone's in my fruit cellar.
Someone with a fresh soul.
Yeah.
Otto's gonna be 75 years old, afraid to go down in the basement.
Yeah, exactly.
Writing letters to Reinhold to come down there.
Never again. Never again.
Rotten fruit out.
But Grandpa Pod's just a can of peaches. That's all we need. Get it yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
Living to 75 seems unlikely.
I
It'll be
agree.
okay.
All right, this seems a reasonable point to stop. We can discuss your next moves. So it sounds like you have an idea.
We're off to see the wizard.
Yes, that's what I thought you meant by the man, but
Finally, see if he comes down out of his tower.
Oh, it doesn't matter if he comes down. He's the only person that we know for sure that's not dead that is in the cult. So
I don't necessarily
not
know.
necessarily
Not in,
but
but yeah.
associated with. He's got
Yeah.
information on them.
Mhm.
So he's going to speak with us. Reinhold is Reinhold's fairly sure of himself in that regard. So
Yeah. Yes, Reinhold seems to be coming into himself.
I'm glad you're feeling confident because I'm not.
it's the changing of the guard. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Now I am the master. All right. Excellent.
Somebody give me some Kool-Aid. Nice place you got here, old man.
Oh God.
All right.
Mhm. All right, guys.